And we're live. Hello, hello, hello. And welcome back to some Persona 4 Royal. Wait, Persona 4 Royal? What? No, that's not the right game. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. That's the one. That's the right game. I know what I'm doing. I know what game I'm playing. Where am I? There we go. Audio. Game. So, we have hit the... I want to say halfway point, but it says we've only completed 38% of the story. So... well, I guess we'll find out. I imagine maybe these final ones are probably going to be a little bit longer. But today we are starting off on Naoto Shiragane's story. After we finish off Teddy's and...
my impressions of the organization called the Shadow Operatives,
Oh.
as well as their leader, Mitsuru Kirito.
Okay. My fingers fly across the keyboard. My last case was special. I need to complete my report before I forget any important details. My name is Naoto Shiragane. I'm a detective. The Shiragane family has been working as detectives for generations. Though I'm young and still in high school, I have been given the opportunity to take on several cases and have built up experience as a detective. My work has earned me some trust, and every so often the police will come to me for my assistance. Excuse me? That's where this story begins. A sudden request from the Inaba Police Department. That was about a month ago, early April. This is definitely starting off different. Excuse me. Last summer I had received a request from the prefectural police to come to the town of Inaba. A bizarre series of murders was occurring. A corpse would turn up every morning after a foggy night. In the end, it turned out to be the most difficult case of my career. It's been about 2 weeks since that case was closed. No. From the public's viewpoint, 4 months have passed since the crimes were stopped. The culprit has been arrested and prosecuted. Peace is returned, but with it comes a depressing proposition. I'm not unwilling to help the police again, but... my involvement with the previous case is not something I'd like to go through again. To be completely honest, that particular case was no simple series of murders. During the course of my investigation, I obtained a supernatural power known as my persona, making me more than just a detective. I collaborated with other persona users, and became directly involved with the events of the case. Of course... excuse me. I feel like I got something stuck in my throat, and it does not want to budge. If I was to tell this to the police, it would be treated as nonsense. Worst case scenario, I would be discredited. Having to leave out those details while explaining the events of the case is more than a little nerve-wracking. It feels like lying. But there you have it. While on my way to the police department for this new case, I go through a list of possible questions and answers I would need. Ooh. Hello? Something's different today, though. After greeting the receptionist, I'm not led to the usual dull meeting room. Instead, I'm taken to a reception area on the top floor. A leather-trimmed sofa. A curved wooden table. A nouveau riche setting. I don't know my French.
Looks like this may take some time.
Oh. If this was just going to be paperwork and basic questioning, they wouldn't have brought me to this special room. Is it a new case? I have to wait several minutes before someone comes to speak with me. When the door finally opens, a man wearing a suit, not fitting the uniform of a local officer, walks in.
I'm sorry about the wait.
Oh, hello, you're new. I don't know who you are. He hands me his card.
Allow me to introduce myself.
His card has a lengthy title. National Police Agency, Security Bureau, Security Planning Division. I was shocked. They're more commonly known as the Public Safety Police. The Security Planning Division is the command center for departments that handle terrorist threats, coup d'etat plots, and foreign affairs. The secret police also belong to this group. But why would a person of such importance come all the way to a rural locale like this? I look him in the eye. He appears to be measuring me up.
I see you're enough on the ball that you don't need a lengthy introduction. Good.
Alright. So what's... This is definitely... I mean, Kanji's was a little different, an introduction, but... it still quickly ended up with him joining the P-1 Grand Prix, and just things continuing as normal. Except he thought it was all a dream. Teddy's was fairly different. That had us more facing off, like, just against the P3 cast, rather than entering the tournament. But this is definitely feeling like we're starting to get closer and closer to the actual story here. Without any further talk, the man gets to his point.
Have you heard of the Kirijo group?
I doubt there are many who haven't.
I'll get right to the point. We'd like to hire you to perform a sub-rosa investigation on them.
Oh,
You need a corporation quietly investigated. Why me? I don't see what I can do that your own department cannot.
oh, unless they know about the TV world.
I would
and stuff.
agree if shadows and personas
yep.
weren't involved.
This time I'm unable to hide my surprise. But the man continues, either failing to see or purposefully ignoring my
One
reaction.
summer 12 years ago, there was an explosion at the Kirijo-owned Tatsumi Port Island, killing over 50 people. You would have been very young at the time.
I've reviewed that case. The official explanation was that a gas main leaked during a construction project. Afterwards, though, a bizarre rumor saw quite a bit of circulation.
The mass media noticed that there was a suspiciously large number of researchers amongst the casualties.
Oh.
They floated the theory that the official explanation was a lie, and that the explosion was really caused by some dubious experiment.
And was
No
it?
concrete evidence was ever found to support those claims, though. As I recall, the matter was left unsettled. Some may still remember the incident, though I don't think many could recall the finer points.
Those rumors were all true.
Oh. His voice becomes firm.
What?
Those researchers under Koetsu Kirijo, the old Kirijo group manager, were working on harnessing the power of shadows.
Oh. Is this some stuff that is this what led up to the events of Persona 3?
The experiment went awry, and they lost control of the shadows. That's what caused the explosion.
Experiments using shadows. They lost control? Are you saying the shadows flooded the city? The real world?
I can't speak to that. There was no way of getting hard answers back then. No one took the spooky stories seriously.
Oh.
But that accident got the government and the police's attention. Though they didn't launch an investigation until a year or two ago.
That couldn't be helped. Law can only preside over the world as we know it. Things that can't be explained can't be governed.
Only those in the Kirijo group know exactly what happened and how much of the aftermath was dealt with.
The aftermath.
That word has a bad ring to it. It brings to mind a cover-up of some dark secret.
Their cleanup efforts continued until quite recently. They were using some method known only to them, entirely behind our backs.
Ooh, is this where the, anti-shadow suppression weapon
We
stuff
think
comes in?
they've been conducting illegal activities in the 10 years since then, while hiding behind their cleanup efforts.
And you wish for me to confirm this.
Not only do you have a relationship with us, you have a persona and extensive
How
experience
did they know
in the
this?
field. We can't think of a better candidate.
And since I'm not directly affiliated with the police, if I were to be caught in a trap, it wouldn't lead back to you.
If that's the way you want to put it.
If that's the way you want to put it. My reply was meant to be sarcastic, but this conversation is exceptionally draining. I must applaud public safety. They know everything about anybody they choose to investigate. There's no point in trying to bargain with them. He continues explaining indifferently, as if able to sense my resignation.
Last year, in conjunction with the Kirijo group, we established an unofficial department in the force, nicknamed the Shadow Operatives.
Okay.
It's a special unit capable of dealing with shadow-related cases.
This is news to my ears. That's a rather bold move. You went so far as to join forces with the ones you suspect of illicit activities?
Alright.
That's exactly why we did it. We must keep a leash on them by integrating them into the system.
But the police are far behind information-wise. Officially, you are higher on the chain of command, but less so in practice.
I tried throwing out of fury as I began to get a grasp on what's taking place. The man didn't so much as flinch, but he didn't give me much of an answer either.
You'd need some leverage to keep your hold on them. Thus, this secret investigation. What exactly do you want me to do?
That will depend on your answer.
Oh. So that's their game plan. I figured as much. An organization as big as the Kirijo group is hiding a secret about shadows. Now, should I take the job or not? As a person with persona abilities, I'm naturally interested in learning how much is known about the shadows. And this job could potentially give me leverage over the government in the future. While I'm deep in thought, the man continues, as if he can read my mind.
If you think we're hiring you to further our organization, you're mistaken.
I can't help but look up at the obvious change in his tone.
Our sources say it's possible that they've been talking students from a Kirijo-owned school into doing their dirty work.
Oh, I'm guessing is the Kirijo-owned school the... Gekkokan?
They've been pleading ignorance while making ordinary kids clean up whatever messes they've left.
Persona 3 school?
And that, we don't forgive. We're supposed to be upholding the law. We can't overlook things like this.
He's surprisingly sincere. He's staring right at me. Unlike before, his eyes are strong and bold. He truly doesn't want anyone innocent to suffer. Of course, this could be an act to convince me, but even then, I do agree with that opinion. All that remains is to find out Kirijo's intentions.
Alright, in that case, I accept. Though I don't plan on abandoning my school life here. I'll do what I can to help, but only within those limits.
Alright. I would never have dictated conditions like this before. The reason I had to come to this town and transfer to Yasugami High School was for my investigation. But school life and the dear friends that I've gained have become irreplaceable to me. It may sound childish to demand that I stay with my friends, but if they refuse to budge in that regard, that's that. However...
That's fine with us.
Nope. He accepts my condition, almost too easily. He then immediately begins to explain the details of the case.
At the end of this month, the Kirijo group is airlifting some special cargo.
Oh. Labras?
Kirijo has asked our help in making sure the cargo is transported safely. We'd like you to accompany them as a police observer.
What do they mean, transported safely?
A police escort, assurance of no public investigation if any unforeseen situation were to arise. Things like that. Of course, if anything does happen, we will hold them responsible.
And what is this special cargo?
It's something to do with the shadow research. They've admitted that much, but we don't know the exact
And
details.
I'm guessing that's part of what they want Naoto to find out.
According to our research, it's most likely something from the old ergonomics research laboratory, classified as risk level 4.
What's risk level 4?
In other words, even though it's sealed up tight, it's extremely dangerous.
They even have a risk scale for things like this. It seems that Kirijo's research goes into a variety of different things. Oh, also? Hello. As I'm thinking, the man slides a photograph to me. It's a beautiful young lady. Her eyes show a strong will, as striking as her blazing red hair. That hair reminds me of something. I may have seen her picture while going through the documents regarding the Port Island incident. Of course, the girl in those pictures was much younger.
This woman will be on that flight. Her name is Mitsuru Kirijo.
Kirijo.
She's the oldest daughter of the Kirijo family, Koetsu Kirijo's granddaughter. It was he who devised the experiments 12 years ago.
All
you
right.
should know that she's also a powerful persona user.
Okay. A persona user besides us? I was suspecting something like this, but to hear it out loud is still shocking. So there are persona users other than those involved in the case last year.
We believe she took the lead in gathering students 3 years ago, when she was still in high school. We'd like you to first go to her residence and meet with her.
All right.
I'm sure you figured out by now, since she's a high-ranking Kirijo group official and a persona user, but she's a shadow operative. She's member number 1, the general manager. And not because she's a Kirijo, but because she has the abilities to back it up. Can you do this? If she's dirty, then this won't be easy for you.
I already accepted your assignment, so I must simply make the best of it.
Oh, so is this going to be more fighting against the Persona 3 characters? I offer my hand. He has the firm grip of someone who's worked on the front lines of the law. Oh. A few days later, I receive a message informing me that the transport is to be on the 1st of May. It's on a school day, but since I've taken the job, there's nothing I can do about it. In fact, I should be glad that this didn't overlap with the extended holiday. I haven't heard the details, but I expect to have some important arrangements during Golden Week. Arrangements to reunite with my upperclassman, Yu Narukami, who was the leader of our group during last year's incident. I keep thinking about our reunion. It's only been 2 weeks since he left, but it feels much longer. I suppose that goes to show how much I'm looking forward to it. But I'm going off track. I need to think about my new job, so I hastily pull myself together. Oh. Oh. Fancy limousine. May 1st. The cargo is due to be transported from a laboratory near the Kirijo mansion. I make my way to the mansion to present myself and end up accompanying the security detail. The limousine is incredibly long. Apparently it isn't all that rare for the upper class in other countries to ride in cars this large, but it's downright comical on the tiny roads of Japan. That was where I met Mitsuru Kirijo in person.
Nice to meet you. My name is Naoto Shirogane. I'll be acting as an observer today.
I've been told about you. It's nice meeting you as well. I'm Mitsuru Kirijo.
Her beauty is enough to attract anyone's attention. She was so much less imposing than in the picture.
I didn't expect the police's observer to be so young.
Does that bother
You're
you?
bringing a gun to a fistfight? We are indeed. Naoto, from what I'm aware, her primary weapon is just a revolver.
No. I didn't mean to downplay your abilities.
Which I'm not quite sure how it works. I haven't done any test fights as Naoto. I take a look at Kirijo-san's face. She's the only daughter of the founding family, but it's been 2 years since she renounced the practice of the Kirijo group being run by the family. Smart. You know, it's about winning. It's not about being fair. To be fair, Naoto's not even the worst for it, because you have Aigis, who just brings out Gatling guns, rocket launchers, rail cannons. Letting a living weapon walk into a, you know, just a general fighting tournament feels a little unfair. In other words, she's simply the CEO's daughter now, not the heir to the company. She must be used to constant stress, being a female leader at such a young age. Getting people to acknowledge her must have been a struggle. I don't need to mince my words in dealing with types like her. I decide to cut to the chase.
Tell me, what are the contents of your cargo?
I'm ashamed to have to admit this, but since the original researchers have passed away, we don't know what's in it either.
That sounds like a problem. We know it's whatever this, like, risk level 4 is, but you don't even know what we're transporting?
We can't allow the worst case scenario for such an item to come to pass in the middle of a city. That's why we plan to transfer these items to a distant facility according to their indicated risk level.
I suppose, yeah, you probably don't want to open a risk level 4 box in a area where there's a lot of civilians about. Okay, no, I guess that kind of makes sense. A natural decision. Her posture, her actions. If that was all an act, I must commend her for her ability to deal with the unexpected. But personally, my impression is that she's a trustworthy person. Before leaving, I had a chance to see the Kirijo mansion. I have to say, it's surprisingly simple. It felt as though it was prioritizing function and efficiency over meaningless luxury. Perhaps a reflection of her own personality. At any rate, her intelligence and presence are proof enough of her upbringing. If she was hiding something, it would be hard to figure out.
Then I'll stay near the cargo along with the police escort. I'll contact you immediately if anything happens.
All right. If anything is unclear to you, feel free to ask me.
Okay. Her eyes look straight at me, and I feel like she could see through anything. I end our conversation shortly after, and quietly wait for us to arrive. Oh, bookmark. I guess at this point I'm just gonna have to start overwriting Yu's story. Oh, there's our plane. Japan Air Network. The limousine, transport truck, and multiple security cars reached the airport without any incident. The cargo may be dangerous, but according to the records, it was kept safely in storage for the past 10 years. Plus, it is worthless to the average person. Because of this, the people involved in the security don't look tense. Kirijo-san hands her servant her travel bag. It's almost as if she's simply going on vacation.
Yakushima. Huh.
I don't know where Yakushima is. The plane's destination is one of the southern islands. I'm sure it'd be fun to go with everyone. I realize what I'm thinking. I have to laugh at myself. A year ago I never would have considered that it would be fun to spend time with others. But I can't help but think that way now. Soon, they'll begin moving the cargo out of the truck. I clear my mind of daydreams and look back to the truck. They pass through the gate for large cargo shipments. The shipment is in imposing metal cases, but among all the other shipping containers, it doesn't attract much attention from the airport staff. Oh, yep, I can see that 005 Labras. So that was, yeah, they said like Labras was like a Generation 5 anti-shadow suppression weapon? It's not long before the final case is unloaded from the truck. It's obviously different from the rest. It's covered in what seems to be heavy industrial-grade steel, about 1 meter wide and broad, and 2.5 meters tall. Seems like something very special is in there, but even if someone was targeting the shipment, it would be impossible to steal that. 4 men in suits slowly tip the case sideways and place it on the cart. Seeing it on its side reminds me of something. It looks like a coffin. The moment I realize that, a shiver runs down my spine. It does look big enough for a person to lie down in. Could there really be someone inside? Could it be that this tight security is not to prevent theft, but to keep the cargo from escaping? No, how can I imagine things like this without any proof? I shake my head to clear it of these pointless thoughts. Am I just shaken because I heard this has something to do with shadows? Eventually, the check-in process is complete, and the announcement to begin boarding echoes through the airport. I relax a little, relieved that nothing has happened up to this point. Oh, but once we're in the air, perhaps? Once the plane takes off, the only thing in our way is the sky. I had put on an earpiece tuned to the police radio to keep up with the current situation. So far, nothing was out of the ordinary. Kirijo-san's group finished checking in and had boarded the plane. The cargo should be loaded soon. After I supervise that, I'll check in and... Suddenly an urgent voice jumps onto the broadcast.
Aircraft squawk code has changed to 7500.
What does that mean?
7,500.
I have trouble mentally shifting gears after the long period of inactivity. I never imagined I would hear that number with my own ears.
7,500? A hijacking?
Oh, that's not good. Is the plane I'm investigating being hijacked? That can't be a coincidence. Could this have been set up by the police or the Kirijo group? No, there's no benefit for either of them to get involved with the general public. So if that's the case...
Is it the cargo they want?
There really is someone after the cargo. Wait, if they're after the cargo, why hijack the plane? If they're not trying to steal the cargo, could they be after Kirijo-san? No, that doesn't feel right. Hijacking isn't an efficient method to carry out a kidnapping, or an assassination. If they have the time and resolve to pull this off, they would be far better off trying to take over the plane mid-flight. Can't figure out their objective. Why would they do something that attracts so much attention? Attention. This is a very peculiar time to attempt a takeover of the plane. Very peculiar indeed. Hijacking before departure forfeits the biggest benefits of hijacking. But at the same time, all normal airport operations will come to a halt while everyone turns their focus on the plane in question. The airport will naturally stop loading baggage onto the plane while this hijacking goes on. It's the perfect distraction. So they are after the cargo.
If that was the case, the hijacking is only a decoy.
Oh.
Would they really risk their lives hijacking a plane over one piece of cargo?
Well, depending on what that cargo is. As I think, I scan the area from my viewpoint up in the boarding area. I see a van that had been parked near the cargo area suddenly peel out. A suspicious departure at this time? I have a bad feeling about this. But the cargo was just unloaded right in front of my eyes. Didn't see anyone steal it. Hold on. 4 men in suits for the handcart. I don't see them. I'd lost track of them in the rush of activity after the hijack call. I grind my teeth and interrupt the radio call.
002, over. A suspicious vehicle is leaving the scene. Stay in pursuit. It's a large vehicle, about 2 tons. License plate.
Oh. Definitely ramping up the drama in Naoto's story. I hear someone confirm with Roger, but there's shouting and confusion going on in the background. I'm unsure if my intentions had been understood. I run across the airport by myself. I need to grab hold of these people's tail, even if only to get a few hairs. Of course, there's no way that I can catch a vehicle on foot, but I have a plan. Oh. I run down the escalator and bolt for the passenger pickup area at the arrivals lobby. I look around outside and... there it is. Just as I thought. The suspicious vehicle was coming this way. The airport's road layout is a loop. After leaving the departure lobby, cars must take a turn and curve back around to the arrival lobby before being able to reach the surface streets. I hide in the crowd and wait for the van to get close. And as it passes by, I throw a small, sticky lump. Luckily for me, it strikes and sticks, low on the van's side. There's a compact transmitter in there. You'd have to be pretty close to pick up the signal, but it's better than nothing. I take my hat off and wipe my forehead. The pedestrians around me begin to stir. Everyone stops and stares at their smartphones. I didn't need to look. I knew. The first news of the hijacking is already hitting the media. I put my hat back on and pull the brim low. I'll have to be careful not to let all the information flying about confuse me. I keep my guard up as I quickly walk back to the departure lobby. Another 45 minutes pass without any more clear information coming through. There's chaos on the radio and people are in a panic. But after an hour, the confusion suddenly stops and a shocking report comes in.
Personnel on scene. The suspects have been apprehended. The hijacking is over. I repeat.
Yep, but the hijacking
They
isn't
dealt
a
with it
problem.
so soon?
If some passengers were ill, there were no casualties. As far as I know, the hijackers didn't even make any demands. It's hard to think that the police could have negotiated with them. But, on the other hand, there was no indication that the special assault team had stormed the plane. Did the group surrender now that their decoy objective was complete?
What's going on here?
Just then, a radio call came in directly for me.
Operator to 002, over. The hijacking has been dealt with, but the transfer must be cancelled.
Has the cargo gone missing?
Whereabouts of one piece of cargo
Yep.
cannot be confirmed. All indications are that it has been stolen.
Is it the
Then
coffin?
that vehicle earlier. Are you still in pursuit?
We're tracking it through the N system. Head to the guest room immediately so we can discuss our response.
It looks like my call to report that suspicious van had not been a mistake.
Understood.
Oh, okay. At least we have someone in pursuit. That's good. Right? Soon after, the involved parties were gathered in the conference room. Grigio-san and the police are talking hurriedly. A good number of this quickly put together team are not aware of the confidential nature of this matter. I imagine things won't be proceeding so smoothly. At any rate, the van on the run can be tracked through the N system. The hijackers were handed over to the airport police, while those of us who knew the truth about the cargo were moved to one of her buildings.
That was a very tidy operation. I had thought it would take at least half a day.
To put it delicately, we had someone with special abilities handling this.
Oh?
Then again, though we prevented any harm from coming to the hostages, we lost the cargo.
Yep, and it looks like very
Nothing
important
for it,
cargo.
I suppose. Who would have expected an entire hijacking to cover up the theft of some cargo? I must apologize to you as well. I was the closest at hand when it happened.
No, you did more than enough. It's thanks to your sharp eyes that we're able to track the suspicious vehicle now. I'm impressed that you realized in all the chaos that the cargo was the true target. You even spotted their getaway truck.
Thank you. Our next step should be to interrogate the suspects in
Don't
custody.
underestimate
and-
the detective prince.
Sadly, it won't be that simple.
Oh.
I haven't heard much yet, but it seems they're having unexpected difficulties with the interrogation.
What?
It will take some time.
What kind of difficulties?
If they were prepared to risk their lives for this operation,
So I suppose
I
the
suppose they won't
simple
break so
option.
easily.
We made an error in judgment. We were too focused on preventing the item itself from doing any damage.
Okay, so they were focused on, protecting the outside from the cargo, not protecting the cargo from the
But since
outside.
they targeted something so unusual, that should narrow down the suspect pool.
I can't deny it's possible that someone connected to the Kirijo group is behind this.
No.
Thank you for your assistance, Shirogane. I'm sorry to have involved you in this mess, but the professionals will take it from here.
Mitsuru, are you implying that Naoto isn't a professional? Professionals. In other words, she plans to investigate this herself, as a shadow
Does
operative.
that mean my work here is done?
I'm afraid so. We do value your cooperation.
Ooh. Is Naoto just going to let it slip? This is a bit of a pickle. The Kirijo group and the police want to keep this under wraps. That is, they cannot open a public investigation. On top of that, the Shadow Operatives are, technically, an organization working for the police, so there's no room for freelancers here. Which means there's no need for me to be involved in the investigation any further. Insisting to stay on this case would only draw attention. With no other choice, I decide to take my leave. Very different going from playing Kanji and Teddy to playing Naoto. It must have been chaos at the office. Despite the unusual events, the man who hired me has not yet gotten in touch. Is he going to get a name? You did get his business card. You should have his name. I entertained the thought of returning home to Inaba, but luckily enough, I've brought enough luggage for a short trip out of town. I decided to stay the night at a business hotel near the airport and wait a while for my client to contact me. Time passes. Oh. At 9 o'clock, I finally receive a phone call from the man.
Things have taken an unexpected turn. This case is under the jurisdiction of the Shadow Operatives now.
Indeed.
That will make it very difficult to continue my
By the way, did I misspell a read? I did. Hold up, am I able to fix that without breaking the stream? I think. Can this work? I just misspelled it even more. Doop. Okay. There we go. There we go. There's no mistakes. No mistakes have been made. I don't know if that's actually updated anywhere. I don't want to risk changing OBS settings because I know that can break things. It's all fine. It's all good. No spelling mistakes. I've never made a mistake on stream. Not once.
But right now, you're the only one we have who's gotten that close. We heard you earned Kirijo's trust after the hijacking. We'd like you to keep up your investigation. We're currently making arrangements for you to pick it up again in a natural way.
Define natural.
What are you gonna have me do? I will not act as a spy.
I'll be in touch later.
Nope. Oh, hey! It updated the other misspelling was probably. Okay. Yeah, I can't, just because I use Restream, I'm not always too sure about, like, whether it updates automatically, because I have to, in OBS, I have to select a separate tab, both YouTube and Twitch. I kind of choose the stream I'm uploading to. But I don't want to change that mid-stream, because I think I've attempted before, and it's broken. It's why I've had a couple of streams where I start like 3 different videos before actually getting fully into the stream. He hangs up without waiting for my reply. Oh. I sigh. I feel a weight in my heart. This has a high possibility of turning into a private investigation from the shadows. Pretty much a polite way of saying corporate espionage. If I'm to take on this job, I need to have some sort of plan. At any rate, I cannot plan my movements without knowing how the situation is progressing. It would be far better to prepare for tomorrow instead of getting worked up with worry. I read the newspaper and watch some of the TV coverage of today's events, then go to bed early. Imagine being able to be so productive with your life. A day passes, and even by the night of May 2nd, the man has not contacted me again. It seems the police are having trouble zeroing in on the suspicious vehicle. Considering the skill with which the crime was pulled off, I wouldn't be surprised if that van had been dumped somewhere and the cargo loaded onto another vehicle. Going through all the possibilities is just a way to kill time. Oh. So there is kind of like a human antagonist here? But it's the only thing I had to do. Nothing happened until the sky began to darken as the sun went down. My phone finally rang. But surprisingly, the name on the screen brought a smile to my face.
Yes,
oh, is this
Shirogane speaking.
TA?
Hi, Naoto-kun? Oh, I'm not interrupting your work, am I?
No, it's quite alright.
I'm sorry to call
Okay, so this
late.
is the
I wanted to at least
first
give it one
connection
more
back
shot
to the
about
original
tomorrow.
Chie's route. That's right. So much has been happening that I completely forgot the school holidays start tomorrow. And, of course, we're supposed to have our reunion with Yu Senpai when he visits from the city tomorrow. I was supposed to be able to meet up with them. I didn't imagine that I'd be stuck here for 3 days thanks to the attempted hijacking at the airport. But since I've undertaken the job, I have obligations that I can't just abandon. I'm starting to actually feel some anger towards whoever the culprits are.
I'm sorry, but it seems I still won't be able to make it. I'm actually not in Inaba at the moment, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that. Oh, then I guess you can't check even if it rains.
Oh.
Even if it rains?
Oh, nothing. Just talking to
Oh,
myself.
except of course, Naoto is smart enough to figure out what Chie is implying. What was that?
It's okay, Naoto-kun. I know there are people who'll be in trouble without you. You need to stay there and help them out.
Yes, well,
Help them out, huh? It irritates me to know that what I'm going to do is pretty much spy
it
work.
really is a shame. Give my regards to Senpai and the others, won't you?
Will do. Good luck with the job.
I hang up the phone. Seeing my dear senpai again. I feel that's much more important than a job with an uncertain outcome, and I feel a little sad that I'm going to miss it. Maybe I should just turn the case down and make a surprise visit
I
tomorrow.
wonder if any train would make it in time.
Oh, no, Naoto's not going to think about what Chie was saying about it raining. But it looks like the case is not about to let me leave. After my talk with Chie-san, I begin to prepare for bed. And that's when the public safety official calls me again. Hello,
It
sir.
seems we may be back on for the secret investigation. Mitsuru Kirijo just requested our cooperation.
Oh, that's helpful that they're coming to us
We
for help.
agreed. A detective by the name of Kurosawa will be heading out
Kurosawa.
tomorrow. We want you to accompany him to the rendezvous point.
The name sounds familiar. When I ask about this Kurosawa fellow, I receive an unanticipated answer. Apparently he had helped Kirijo-san's activities on his own while he was a constable. Even though his superiors didn't understand what Kirijo-san was up to, he followed his own instincts and helped her to protect his town. Normally he would be punished for this, but the situation took a 180-degree turn thanks to the establishment of the shadow operatives. His knowledge has been invaluable, and rather than being disciplined, he has been promoted to plainclothes detective.
Kurosawa is willing to leak you whatever info he learns about the Kirijo group through his cooperation with them.
Okay.
I'm surprised he agreed to that. Hasn't he assisted Kirijo-san and her group in the past?
I'm afraid that's something you'll have to ask him about, although he seems to have his own agenda.
Okay. I confirmed several other details before ending the call. Detective Kurosawa. If he's working with the Kirijo group, it could be something of a problem. But, if they have information to leak, that means they must have located the vehicle in question. Still, considering how long it took them to find it, I may be in for a long trip. Where am I going to be sent now? I shrugged to myself. Oh. The next day, May 3rd, I meet with Detective Kurosawa. I expected someone who looked shadier, but the man appeared hardworking and
I'm
honest.
Kurosawa.
I'm Naoto Shirogane. Thank you for your assistance.
No portrait?
I've heard rumors about you, Ace Detective. Let's get going.
We don't get to see what he looks like? We make our greeting brief, and I get into Detective Kurosawa's car. There he is. He... Gotta be honest, he very easily looks like he could be a bad guy. Just the way he's kind of looking at Naoto. A private investigation in a location that I have no prior knowledge or experience of. This was a depressing job in the first place, and the addition of more and more unknown variables is only making me more displeased
You
with it.
seem pretty listless.
Oh no, I'm fine. Where are we headed, by the way?
The place where they found the getaway car from the hijacking. A town called Inaba.
Ooh.
It's a small place with an odd history.
Okay.
They just had a bizarre serial murder case there.
Maybe
last
should
year.
have guessed this.
Inaba.
I can't stop the surprise from showing in my voice.
That's your hometown, right?
Yeah, the
Smell
dude driving got a
like
face,
you?
face of a bug. He does. Yeah, no, the more I'm here, the more I kind of feel like maybe that was just me being prejudiced. Maybe it is just he's kind of stern more than he is a thug. I'm at a loss for words, but Detective Kurosawa continues instead of waiting for me to reply.
The request I got from the shadow operatives was to assist in gathering information about those murders.
Oh.
They want me to meet with a supervising detective of that case and ask him for the full story.
Okay. So Naoto's been requested to investigate the Kirijo group because of her experience with shadows, but now the Kirijo group is sending her to investigate the case she was a part of that got her involved with shadows in the first place.
Not only are they part of public safety, they're an unofficial unit. They can't come to the district police for information.
Why him? Is his case related to the robbery in some way?
I'm also guessing this is the detective in charge of the case is Dojima, right?
Public safety is sharper than you might think. They do basic reviews on all cases to see if shadows were involved.
Oh.
Inaba is on their watch list now. And with that cargo being brought there, they naturally suspect a connection between the cases.
Okay. There is a connection, and it might be related to our case. I begin to have ominous thoughts, and my expression darkens. Detective Kurosawa doesn't probe into that topic. Perhaps he's the type of person who doesn't judge people based on evidence, but gets a feel for them through conversation and actions. How am I reflected in his eyes? I can't help but wonder. Oh, there's a TV. A TV potentially big enough to get that coffin through? Detective Kurosawa goes inside the Inaba police station while I wait in the car near the junkyard. The familiar sights of Inaba seem strange somehow. The detective in charge of this case must be none other than Dojima-san. Detective Ryotaro Dojima. Of course I'm familiar with him. And not just through our profession. Dojima-san acted as Yu-senpai's guardian while he stayed in Inaba. I feel like I'm betraying him as well, but I can't stop myself from sighing again. Soon enough, Detective Kurosawa steps out of the station. I thought he was coming back, but halfway to the car he turns and walks into the junkyard. Oh? I wonder what he's doing. I stick my head out the window and try to track him. There's another car parked behind a pile of junk. That distinctive grille style. That's Kirijo-san's limousine. Why is the... Isn't the fact that just it's a limousine at all suspicious? You brought it up before that they're not very common in Japan. I hurriedly pull my head back into the car. That's right. Detective Kurosawa came here to cooperate with Kirijo-san. But still, to bring me along and park so close to her is... Then again, it's very unnatural to park far from a rendezvous point. Detective Kurosawa made the right decision. I calm down and slide into the rear seat, keeping my head low. Still, Kirijo-san uses that black limousine while undertaking her shadow operative duties as well. That car sticks out like a sore thumb here in Inaba. It's distinctive anywhere in Japan. Why would someone as clever as Kirijo-san take that car on a special mission like this? Does she have some profound reasoning behind it? After a while, Detective Kurosawa finally comes back to the car.
Kurosawa-san, may I ask you something? Why are you working with public safety?
You're asking that now? I thought that would be your very first question.
After wiping a dry smile from his face, Detective Kurosawa turns to me with an incredibly serious
You
expression.
can spy on Mitsuru Kirijo and her shadow operatives to your heart's content and never find anything suspicious. But for that to be understood, at some point or another, everything she does has to be investigated to eliminate those doubts.
Okay, so that's his angle. He's cooperating with this police investigation purely because he believes that kind of it will cause him to trust his boss.
In which case, it's better someone like you do the investigating than someone official who will never understand. That's all there is to it.
So he did have his reasons
Thank you
after
for
all.
your cooperation.
I'll leave the rest in your hands.
Excuse me? I exit the vehicle. Kurosawa-san takes his car onto the highway and speeds out of sight. He has no doubts whatsoever regarding Kirijo-san's activities. To be honest, I'm inclined to agree with him, but I can't jump to conclusions without any evidence. That TV there is still making me feel suspicious. I use heaps of junk as cover to sneak close to the limousine and watch. Not long after, I see two people exit the vehicle. One of them is Kirijo-san, and hello, Igus. However, unlike when I saw her at the airport, she's wearing equipment likely suited for combat. the other person looks strange.
Is that the fabled humanoid weapon?
No. There was information about a humanoid weapon mixed in with all the data I had about the Kirijo group. When I first saw it, I was confused, but that had to be what was standing in front of me. It seems natural, almost lifelike, but there's no denying that it's an artificial construct. It seems that the rumors of an unorthodox anti-shadow unit were true. Another man comes to join them soon. Oh, he too was dressed in outlandish attire. He was shirtless and wore a red cloak like a desert nomad. The perfect example of someone who ought to be detained for questioning. I compare his face to the list of pictures of the people involved with the situation. While his taste in clothing has changed, I believe that this man is Akihiko Sanada. I can't imagine what would possess him to go about dressed like that, but I speculate about their actions. What business do they have here, in a junkyard? There's nothing here but a pile of broken household electronics and abandoned televisions. Then it hits me. Detective Kurosawa had told Kirijo-san about last year's incident. And, of course, she has prior knowledge of personas and shadows. Then no doubt she's heard of the idea of entering the TV world. After all, it appears many times in the testimony of the killer from last year. Dojima-san may have disregarded it for being too far-fetched, but Detective Kurosawa must have caught on. I take a closer look. There's a mountain of old television sets. Victims of last year's switch to digital broadcasts.
They're not planning to enter a TV from here, are they?
Oh, Naoto realizes that they could potentially get trapped if they do that. Even as I say that, the mechanical girl already has her hand sticking into a TV screen. It's exactly as I thought. The mere fact that they are testing what they had heard so recently cannot bode well. Uncertainty crosses my mind. The three of them are clearly preparing to enter the television. Should I blow my cover and warn them about what they're doing? If they enter, they may not be able to leave. But the other world should no longer be dangerous anymore. And I heard from Yosuke-senpai that he'd ask Teddy to leave the exit TV out, just in case. If they're Persona users, they should be able to handle the shadows. They shouldn't be in any peril, but Kirijo-san made a decision faster than I could. Oh. Spent too much time thinking, Naoto. Oh.
The other members will wait here in the car.
Yeah. If we all barge in and something happens, they'll be devastated.
Now that you mention it, at least one of us should be staying behind as well.
I am not staying.
I think this is the first cutscene which is focused on the Persona 3 characters.
Us three will be plenty. We'll end this in a flash. No problem.
The same as always. Although, we have no idea what might be waiting for us on the other side. Don't get careless.
Right.
This situation, it brings back memories.
Ready!
Here we go. Oh. Okay, so no, okay, I'm probably going to see this cutscene again for each of their stories. Same way I saw the same cutscene for the other 6 stories. So this is like actually I'm seeing like the... Okay.
Why enter the TV? What's going on?
Well, are you gonna go find out, Naoto? I stand there blankly.
Is the stolen cargo inside the TV?
Should I chase after them? If I turn back here, we may never be able to find the 3 of them again. And if that happens, the truth about the case will be lost forever. If her property was placed into the TV world, it means that whoever stole it knows the truth about last year's events. And if that's the case, then I can't ignore this, no matter what my assigned task is.
Well,
Plus,
they're determined to enter the TV despite not knowing the risks. I can hardly allow cowardice to prevent me from following.
oh. I realized that the straw breaking the camel's back is not logic, but my pride. I smiled to myself, but my mind was made up. I stand up, look around, then step inside the same television they used. Oh. Feels like Naoto's like taking us like a lot longer before anything actually happens, because we're getting close to being an hour in, and we're only just now entering the TV. It's been a while since I felt this falling sensation, but this time the sensation seems to continue longer than it did when I would enter the TV as part of the investigation team. Oh. Before I know it, the falling has ended. I take cover behind a pillar and look around for the three shadow operatives. Did I lose them? We all entered from the same television, so we should have arrived in the same place. I relax a little and take a look around. When I stand up, I notice it, but it's difficult to believe. I take a good, hard look. This is a school. And not only that, but...
Yasogami High School? What's going on?
This is the gate to the school I attend. The familiar school building is inside, but there's something unfamiliar out in front. There's a stack of strange monitors. They're all displaying the words P-1 Grand Prix. This place looks like the real world, but there's something warped about it. It feels like the world is dangerous again, like it was while we were investigating the incident. But this world has returned to the way it was before. While I'm thinking this, students come walking out of the building. They gather together and soon the area is filled with people.
Impossible. How could there be this many people in the TV world?
Oh, Naoto's the first one to not kind of quickly guard their shadows. Suddenly the students surround me and start cheering. Oh. I see an all too familiar burst of static play across the monitors. Oh, we're getting this one as well.
Rivals.
Okay, no, we have seen this about 7 times at this stage.
What?
Killjoy Detective? The shock leaves me dumbfounded for a while. What's you, Senpai? Sister Complex Kingpin? Well, it's true that... No. Calm down, Naoto. Calm down and analyze the situation. This otherworldly program, where real people's foibles? Foibles? Well, I am not familiar with that word. Are exaggerated to unworldly proportions. The static before the video made it very clear. This broadcast could only be the Midnight Channel. And what was that fighting tournament about? The members of the investigation team are the
It
combatants?
seemed that Teddy was acting as the host for this.
All of us know that Senpai is coming back to Inaba during Golden Week. Then could this be some kind of way to welcome him back? No. Calling him a Sister Complex Kingpin? That's not a welcome. That's a challenge. Who would publicize a negative nickname like that? Besides, whatever the reason, I can't imagine that someone would seriously want us all to fight each other. What is going on? Does it mean that the rest of them are in the TV world as well? Without warning, the sound of microphone feedback pierces my ears.
Hello, boys and girls of Yasogami. Sorry for the wait.
Oh, and there's fake Rise again.
Voice. That's Rise-san.
Students go wild. On the monitors, Teddy appears to be wearing some sort of costume.
I'm proud to announce the commencement of our very own P-1 Grand Prix!
Are we gonna get any... Oh, I suppose Teddy's right, we didn't get our very one P-1 Grand Prix. We didn't get the pun in Teddy's route. It looks like Rise-san and Teddy are the ones running this. Do they really plan on holding this P-1 Grand Prix?
And now the moment you've all been waiting for, the challenger in our first battle.
If that promotional video is correct, then are the members of the investigation team going to show up? Just as I lean forward to see what's going on, a spotlight shines directly into my face, blinding me.
Naoto!
What?
Oh, Naoto Shirogane. The students around me raise their fists to the air and shout. This is a pickle. It seems that I won't be able to chase Kirijo-san down at this rate. First the plane hijacking and now this unforeseen interruption.
Come on down now, Chan!
Teddy, what is the meaning of this?
Didn't you watch the intro video? It's a fighting
We skipped the
tournament.
intro video, Teddy.
I gathered as much, but I was asking why you would do such a thing. Pitting friend against friend in battle is going too far for a joke.
It's not a joke, though. I'm giving this 100%, just like I always do. Now get out there now, Chan. Show me everything you
Alrighty.
You're not making any sense. Besides, there's...
Oh, this is new. While I'm speaking, I see the area in front of me twist. I close my eyes at once. When I open them, I see that only certain things around me have been warped by whatever that was. The scene on the monitors, the students around me. I blink and rub my eyes, but I soon realize that my eyes aren't playing tricks on me.
Are these students an illusion someone is creating?
Oh? TV died. With their skins missing. When did their skins go missing? With their skins missing, the students have become dark shapes that only resemble a human form. Are these shadows of some sort? Well, I do find it hard to believe that so many people could have wandered into the TV world. Even if this many people did get in here, this town would be in an uproar over the mass disappearance of so many students. It makes more sense for them to be shadows, but if that's the case, why did I see them as students? Could it be... Teddy and Rise do both have the power to interfere with other people's thoughts, to a certain extent. It may be possible for them to be projecting illusions into my mind. But what would prove that the two of them really are the hosts of this show? I decide not to jump to any conclusions for now. Even if the two of them are behind this, why would they hold a tournament and deceive me with illusions? I won't be able to figure anything out until I determine what their objective is. As I'm considering my next course of action, Teddy, or should I say General Teddy, speaks directly to me.
What are you all fidgety for now, John? You need to powder your nose?
No! Anyway, if this is not a joke, can I assume you won't easily let me go?
Bingo! You have to win the fight if you want to move on.
Alright.
Only the one who makes it to the very end is set free!
This is getting me nowhere. Talking to him isn't helping me figure out what's going on here.
Well then, let's get this started! Bring out the first opponent!
Okay. I guess we're getting into a fight. Another spotlight appears across from me. A person steps out of the darkness. It's
been a while now.
Oh, we're starting with you. Okay.
Senpai? Why are you here?
I promised I'd come back during Golden Week. Don't tell me you forgot.
No. Of course I remembered. It's just, I didn't expect to see you here.
I could say the same thing. I heard you couldn't make it because of your job.
Yeah.
Yes. Actually, I'm here on matters related to my work. It came as a surprise to me as well.
Huh. Looks like you're as uninterested in socializing as always.
No. Huh? What did he just say?
Everyone says that though they think of you as a friend, they never get the same vibe from you.
That's not true. I just happen to be busy with a case. But really, now's not...
Work, work, work. I guess work's all you care about in the end.
Yeah.
Even now. I'd say you're more concerned with your work than us. I get it. Hanging out with people outside work is a burden for you. It's like an invasion of your privacy.
Senpai?
Oh, he's not the type of person to speak so poorly of others, is he? Is this an illusion
Relax. I'll help get you knocked out of the tournament so you can get back to the work you love so much.
too? No. We're right into it. He summoned his persona.
What? Are you serious?
Oh! Senpai... Oh, we're being attacked already. Senpai attacked me with his persona. That wasn't an illusion. It was real. If he'd hit me, I would have been seriously hurt. But now I know something. He's clearly not in his right mind right now. The leader of the investigation team I know would never, under any circumstances, harm his friends.
What a reunion this is turning into. If I must fight you, I will.
Oh. Our first fight. Time to learn a new character. Naoto versus you. Alright.
Finally. Fight!
Assault! Looks like they're finally
Okay, normal combo is gun. Ouch. Okay, I don't know what my persona attacks are doing. Not good. Excuse me, can I get out of the corner? There we go.
Okay.
Okay. A little close. No? Quite sure. Need to figure out how Naoto's persona attacks work, because they don't feel like they were doing much. My shoulders heave as I gasp for breath. I managed to win, but Senpai was as strong as ever.
Naoto, are you okay?
Nope. Senpai stands up and offers me his hand as I sit on the ground. Despite the fact that he was hurt worse than I was, the look in his eyes shows that he is seriously worried about me. He's a completely different person than the person I saw before the battle. Yes, this is the person I know.
Thank goodness.
Huh?
I mean, are you all right too, Senpai? I'm sorry for hurting you, even though the circumstances demanded it.
Oh, everything's fine here. You're back to the usual Naoto, I see.
Okay, Naoto I'm assuming is going to pick up on the, like, warped cognition thing very quickly.
Usual?
What's that supposed to mean? I wonder about the use of his word usual, but there are more important matters at hand.
Can you tell me what's going on here?
Or I imagine she would figure it out if you actually think about it. Senpai tells me about what had happened to Ninaba while I was gone. I'm at a loss for words. The Midnight Channel started to air again. The video that I saw was the promotional video for something called the P-1 Grand Prix. Apparently it had been shown a few times before I just saw it. Wait, that video? It was shown all over town. No, now's not the time to let that sort of thing discourage me. According to you, Senpai, not only did the Midnight Channel make her comeback, but several of us, Kanji-kun, Teddy, and Rise-san, have gone missing. Senpai and the others entered the TV at Junes to investigate
I was
this.
shocked to see it looking completely different than before.
Indeed. But it seems, at least in part, to be an illusion.
Really?
In fact, the students gathered to watch our battle were not real.
Yeah. They did seem like shadows, but different somehow.
Yep.
I didn't get the
Is that
sense
going to become relevant? Because it's been brought up in every... I think in every... Maybe not Teddy's? And I don't think in Kanji, because Kanji spent most of his thinking he was in a dream. But are the shadow students going to become a plot point?
I thought that Rise-san and Teddy might have been illusions too, but both have gone missing. And given their persona abilities...
I cut myself off. Senpai shakes his head in
It's
response.
possible that that really was them. But we should have faith. If our enemy can use illusions, they might be victims as well.
You're right. I can at least have more faith in my friends than that.
I raise my head to look at Senpai, who is watching me. Our eyes meet and I hurriedly look away.
Speaking of which, why are you here, Naoto?
That's...
Long story. There's the question. Well, it's only natural. But I'm here on business, not anything personal. I cannot disclose the details of my investigation. True, yeah, a long story that you're not allowed to tell him. Not only are there rules, but if I spoke up, I would end up getting him involved. I have to avoid that at all costs. As I'm deciding what to say...
You know, forget I asked. I'm just happy to see you again.
Me too. Oh, I'm sorry.
What's the matter now?
I mean, well, about me being unsociable. Please understand that it's not because my work is more important than my friends.
Huh? I've never thought that about you at all. I don't think any of us have.
Senpai.
Alrighty, time to break up your little chat.
Teddy?
Now, Chan.
Hello, Teddy.
Very impressive beating up the almighty sensei. But now it's time for you to go on. Your next opponent's already waiting.
Okay, who's the next opponent? When his speech is over, the monitor shuts off. Next opponent, huh? I'd rather not continue this charade, but I have to push forward in order to get a hold on the situation.
Well then, we should get going.
Oh. And here comes the invisible walls again. You Senpai nods reassuringly. I feel a sense of relief welling up within me. I can't let my guard down, but knowing that Senpai is with me to help me face whatever lies ahead, I know I have nothing to fear. Or so I thought. Senpai is walking next to me when he suddenly stops.
What invisible wall? What is this? And how come you can pass through?
Oh. A wall? There's nothing there. I waved my hand through the place where Senpai said he couldn't pass through, but I don't feel anything. But Senpai doesn't look like he's faking it. The monitor turns on again. Teddy's face fills the screen.
Did I forget to tell you? Only the winner can move on to the next fight.
Yep.
No one's getting out of this school until a champion's been crowned. Only the one who fights to the very end and comes out on top can leave.
Still more bear puns.
So neither opponent can leave the area unless they fight each other. You go on ahead, Naoto. I'll try and find a way to catch up.
Oh.
Very well. Be careful, Senpai.
I will. See you later.
Excuse me? I'm hesitant to leave Senpai behind, but it can't be helped. I'd like to try to destroy the wall, but there's nothing I can do if I can't touch it. With Senpai smiling at me, I decide to go on ahead. It looks like no matter how many people I fight, I'll have to progress by myself. After some time walking, I run smack into something, even though there's nothing there. I didn't understand what was going on at first, but I soon come to realize something. So this is one of those invisible walls Senpai was talking about. It seems that some of them won't allow anyone to pass, no matter who wins the fights. It's completely transparent. The only way to know it's there is to feel its glass-like smoothness. I have no choice but to take a detour. But time after time, these walls keep getting in my way. I'm not choosing my path. I'm being herded. I suppose I'm following some plan laid out by whoever set this up. Oh, taking us to the gym. After I opened the door to the gym, I saw a space cleared away for that. As I expected, General Teddy appears on the monitor.
You're so slow now, Chan. Your second opponent's been waiting for you.
I've said it before, but I don't intend to fight my
Yeah,
friends.
our intentions don't matter now, though, unfortunately.
Alrighty, let's do this. Bring out the next opponent.
Anji, maybe?
Yo,
Nope.
how's it hanging now, doll?
Anji?
Kanji-kun?
Well, he certainly looks like Kanji-kun, but it only looks
You know,
that
I'm
way.
thinking, the way you talk is so lame.
Huh?
What? I thought I was ready to face anyone, but this isn't a matter of being in my right mind or not. Is this an illusion? Oh, please let this one be an
It's
illusion.
like way too uptight and goody-goody. Makes you sound so distant, you dig?
Kanji?
Is that so?
See, that's what I'm talking about. You could have just said, oh, you think so?
You think so?
Ah, now you're getting it. Now I feel like I'm on your wavelength.
What?
Thanks. Then again, relatability aside, I feel like you were miles away from me to begin with.
Hey, you're doing it again. What's with the Miss Manners act?
I'm sorry. It's a habit of mine.
Or maybe it's that you don't care about getting close to us, huh? You don't feel like you gotta bother getting to know us and stuff?
Of course I don't think... Hell no, man.
Naoto trying to be casual.
You never warm up to anyone because you set your standards so goddamn high.
Oh dear, he's shown his true self.
Oh, what?
Is it, you know what? Are you putting on a show of not letting anyone near you because you got no confidence in yourself? Is that it?
Oh.
Kanji-kun.
It may be false accusations, but some of those statements are hitting home. I can't brush off these words, and my heart aches.
Why are you so nervous? Your height? Your body? That girly voice? And let me give you a little lesson in manliness. I hope you're ready for the pain I'm bringing.
This is insanity.
Wait a second, I didn't say any...
Oh, nope. No time for talking. Oh, the Kanji is going to find this encounter incredibly awkward once things... Nothing. We don't know what Kanji was hearing from Naoto's side.
Finally.
Oh. Gun. Oh, hold up, that's an interesting trick. Okay, Naoto sends her persona behind the person. Okay. That probably...
Okay.
Ow. I imagine that probably gets around blocks, if you can use it right. Okay, well, Kanji was definitely felt like an easier fight than you.
Kanji-kun, are you alright?
Of course I am. Your attacks are like little bug bites. I just let my guard down.
Kanji, you got shot. And this isn't Persona 5. Naoto uses a real gun, not a toy. Well, I suppose they're not toys in Persona 5. There's at least, like, very detailed replicas. I don't know if he's acting tough or trying to be courteous to me, but at least he's back to the usual Kanji-kun. The usual Kanji-kun. Usual? Wait, didn't you, Senpai, say that too? Well, at the very least it seems that the spell is broken once the battle ends. I let out a sigh of relief. Still, for some reason, Kanji-kun has yet to look this way.
Are you really okay? I was told that the others lost contact with you, so how did you come to be here?
How? Well, it was a change of pace.
Don't want to admit you fell asleep and just fell into the TV?
You came into the TV for a change of pace? Did something happen? I'm willing to listen if you'd like to talk about it.
There's nothing to talk about. I mean, wait, not that I don't want to talk to you. But, like, it's not that I do want to talk or that I don't want to... Anyways, there's just sometimes a man wants to go inside a TV by himself.
I'm not sure I follow.
Off my back, will you? I didn't come in here because I like it. Actually, no. That is why I came. Because I like this place.
When Kanji-kun turns around, his face is red, but with anger or something
I
else?
just don't understand why you're being so loud about it and blushing so fiercely.
I wasn't blushing.
You sure, Kanji?
Besides, it was all your fault. You're the one that was, well...
Oh no, what was Naoto doing?
Oh!
Me? What are you talking about?
You want me to come out and say it? Jeez. I thought you'd gone crazy because of that.
Me? Crazy? You were the one who was acting oddly, calling me now doll and whatnot.
Now doll? Why would I call you that?
Wait a second. Acting strangely.
I saw Kanji-kun as if he'd gone mad, and he saw me as the same. And yet both of us claimed that we hadn't gone crazy. I get it now. That's why you, Senpai, called me the usual Naoto.
Of course. An illusion.
Huh?
I
Oh, yep.
believe we were both
Of course,
under
Naoto
the
figures
illusion
out
that
and...
the other had lost their mind.
Naoto figures it out immediately once she starts actually thinking about it.
That's why neither of us remembers saying what the other heard.
Illusions, huh?
It must be a scheme to make friends fight each other. But if that's the case...
It's not as simple as the person I have to fight being crazy. You, Senpai, and Kanji-kun both said things that dig deep into my personal problems. If these are illusions, then whoever's creating them has to be someone who knows us.
The ability to interfere with other senses, the prior knowledge of us, putting it all together, it must be.
Must be what?
The Teddy acting as the tournament's host, as well as Rise-san. Must be genuine.
You moron, there's no way it's them.
I look up at Kanji-kun in surprise.
Ted and Rise are fakes. Come on. They're not twisted like that. You of all people ought to know.
He doesn't have any proof. But his unshakable trust in us sets me at ease. Even if I told him that Rise and Teddy are both missing, I'm sure his answer wouldn't
Who
change.
else then?
Well, you know, there is someone here besides us.
Oh, Miss President.
Saw her on my way here. Some girl with long hair.
A girl. Did she happen to be wearing a white fur shawl and combat gear beneath it?
Her? What are you talking about? She had on a normal Yasuo girl's uniform and her hair was like tied back.
A female student with tied back hair? I don't recall anyone like
Seriously? There's none of the female students wear their hair tied up in Yazagami? I thought he might have run into Kirijo-san, but that doesn't appear to have been the case. Is that girl Kanji-kun's talking about a suspect? I can't tell for sure.
I'll keep it in mind. Well, I should be moving on.
Hold on, I'll come with... Wait, what the hell?
The invisible walls again. Just like last time, I can't touch it
The
myself.
rules seem to dictate that only the victor can proceed. I'll come for you later.
Don't bother. I'll figure this out myself somehow. That aside, you beat me. You better make sure you're the champion in the end.
That's completely irrelevant to the larger objective.
Oh. Kanji-kun not wanting... Like, okay, if you beat me, you have to at least, you know, demonstrate you're the strongest person, so I can claim I only lost because you were the strongest person. I leave Kanji-kun behind and push on ahead. Where are we going to be herded to next? We're being shown illusions that portray our opponents as having lost their senses. But why is the host of this tournament going to such elaborate lengths? Obviously, it's to get people who know each other to fight, but is that the only goal? Still, I wonder how I had appeared to Senpai and Kanji-kun. I have vague guesses how you might have appeared to Kanji given his reaction. And given Kanji-kun's feelings towards Nao. I'm not that worried about Senpai, but thinking about Kanji-kun's reaction, how he had blushed, is burning a hole in my stomach. As I walk down the hall, I come to another likely location for a match. Just as I figured, Teddy appears on the screen.
Your next opponent is a special guest. We've got a lady jumping in on the fun. It'll be a big emotional reunion for you now, Chan.
Oh.
Could it be?
Bring out the next opponent!
Kirijo-san.
Oh.
Shirogane, why are you here? I thought you were...
This is a problem. I didn't think we'd
This is a
run into
problem.
each other so
You don't
soon.
say. The purpose of this event is to have the participants fight, and because there's only one path to take, I figured we'd run into each other sooner or later. I never imagined that it would be this early on, though. No, there's something else I need to be concerned with. Like the previous times, the opponents will not be seeing each other correctly. With that in mind, I watch her closely, and as expected, I see a change in her. Mitsuru Kirijo-san's face twists into an expression of contempt and her composure shatters.
Say I'm surprised to see you here would be an understatement.
I don't reply. There's no point in saying anything after all.
Huh.
Okay, are we
Silent
actually going to...
treatment. How ridiculous that you, who lives a lie, would dig up other people's hidden secrets for a living. You seem gentle, but you maintain an aloof distance that keeps people at arm's length. I've thought that since our first meeting. At first, I thought it must be typical of a detective. But that doesn't seem to be the case.
Is Naoto going to... Is Naoto... Does she have kind of like the rationale? And like this... To like accept it kind of... No, this is an illusion, I'm not going to believe it. Or is it still going to...
You simply lack confidence in yourself.
I have some trouble staying
You
silent.
hide your true nature, because you know that once you grow close to someone, you'll no longer be able to protect your pride. That's why you won't let anyone in. You use your job as a pretext to keep your distance and never get too attached. And it's from that position that you're trying to discover what others are hiding? How contradictory. Not to mention completely ridiculous and unfair.
Clench my fists in spite of myself.
Persona.
Oh. Kirijo-san's relentless words. Even if it's only an illusion, I begin to feel that if I lose, I'll never be able to look her in the eye again. I cannot lose here.
I'd dearly like to answer your charges, but I see no need. There is no reason to defend myself against the accusations of an illusion.
Oh. Nope, Naoto was not falling for it. I was not expecting Kirijo to be the next fight. Ooh. I think this is only the second time we've fought Kirijo.
Final.
I'm down for you.
Ow.
Okay.
Hey. Ouch. I get away from the wall, please.
I'll show you my result. Showtime.
Whoa. Oh, there we go. I don't know what I was doing.
Farewell.
What's wrong? I'm stand this. Can't be.
Perhaps I took it too far.
You just shot someone, but no, I'm sure this will all be good.
You're stronger than you look. It seems you're a skilled fighter, and a persona user as well, huh?
With that, Kirijo-san stands
I'd like
up.
to clear something up. Before our battle, I may have said or done some things
and
that seemed disrespectful.
Mitsuru's
but
figured it out as well.
I understand. We were shown illusions to goad us into fighting each other.
So you already knew. You are a credit to the Shirogane name. In that case, well, I'm willing to forget all the things you said about my body.
Oh wait, what? Her body? What did the illusionary me say?
Though, if you're a persona user, that gives weight to two of
Naoto
your
is
theories.
concerned. Kirijo-san looks straight at me.
One is that you were one of those who solved last year's serial murders. The few proud anonymous heroes.
I shrug, and then I brace myself for the other shoe to drop. I know what she's about
The
to say.
other is that you were one of my enemies. You were an observer at the hijacking, which means a persona user was sent specifically, yet you hid that from me. Somehow I doubt you were there just to watch over the cargo. If my suspicions aren't off base, then there's something I must say.
No. In all honesty, I feel like I have no defense for what's going to happen next. I begin to try to find a way to make it through this conversation without ruining whatever goodwill I may still have with her. But Kirijo-san's next words take me completely by surprise.
Shirogane, can I ask for your cooperation once again?
What?
You know more about this world than I do, and since I lost our match, I will be unable to move on from here.
Wait
Oh.
a moment. I thought you distrusted me.
Even if I did, is continuing to oppose each other the wisest course of action?
I have no words. Kirijo-san smiles as she watches me. Her proposal completely surprised me. My surprise must have confirmed what she was thinking about me. She knew that I'm not the type of person who would become her enemy under normal circumstances. That is why she smiled. I am no match for her. She's on a completely different level than I am. It's not a matter of social rank. She simply has the type of personality that makes people want to follow her. Kirijo-san doesn't wait for me to answer and
As you
continues.
have guessed, we are here in pursuit of the stolen cargo. Upon investigation, we figured out that it contained the
Okay.
5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon, Labris.
Okay, so we know now already that Labris is...
She was a machine, developed as one of a series of test models. They were intended to receive personas in order to combat shadows.
Okay.
Isn't a persona the manifestation of one's strength of heart? How could a machine be capable of using a persona?
I'm
You're
curious
right
about
to
that.
ask that. Labris has a mind of her own. We don't know what she looks like, but it's probably very close to human.
A humanoid machine. I did see something fitting that description before I came through to the TV world. So that was a weapon developed by the Kirijo group. A humanoid robot. One with a heart at that. This is the fruits of Kirijo technology, created from the research of shadows. I cannot help but be surprised. However, if the culprits were specifically after this Labris weapon, there's a high probability that it has been removed from its case and is mobile. I can't fathom how that would benefit the thieves. There's one thing I can deduce though.
Around the time of the robbery, we began to see activity in this world as well. I doubt this is a coincidence. I feel sure that your Labris is connected to this ridiculous tournament.
I agree.
Before I know what I'm doing, I reach out to shake hands with
I
Kirijo-san.
accept your earlier proposal. And I think I'd best hurry.
Thank you. And I'm sorry. Your friends must be facing their own troubles. It's possible that they've met Labris without knowing it, too.
They'll be
Yep,
all right.
indeed.
I'm sure.
The record showed that Labris had some unknown experimental equipment. We don't know what she's capable of. Don't take her lightly.
Oh,
Okay.
no. That isn't what I meant. She has a heart, yes? Then fighting her isn't our only option. She can be saved. I'm sure the others will reach the same conclusion.
I see.
Oh. When I say that, I can see a smile on her face. I can tell she believes in her friends as well.
Yes, I meant to ask. Have you been able to contact your friends?
I shake my head.
No. Two of them have analysis-capable personas, but both of them have gone missing.
I actually have a few powers in that area myself. Can you tell me what these friends of
Oh.
yours look like?
I give her as detailed descriptions of Rise-san and Teddy as I can.
A bear costume and a girl. Are they...
Yes. They're the ones acting as hosts for this tournament. But they're not usually like this.
I see. Well, anyway, knowing that will make searching for them easier. Let me see.
Oh. Kirijo-san focuses and closes her eyes. Her power must allow her to see an image as she searches. It may be only a few powers, but it's still quite amazing.
I'm getting a match some ways from here. It's not moving either.
Oh.
Aha! I found her.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Who is
Oh,
this?
we're getting in touch with Rise ourselves this time. That voice.
My name is Mitsuru Kirijo. I'm with one of your friends, Shirogane.
Kirijo-san looks at me and nods. She's communicating to me so that Rise-san can hear my voice as well.
Rise-san!
Naoto-kun, is it really you?
Yes, though I could ask the same of you,
Oh.
Rise-san.
I'm so glad. This weird fake Teddy kidnapped me and then everyone was fighting each other and...
So Rise-san's voice on the PA system was a fake. If that's the case, then there's no reason to believe that the image of Teddy on the monitors is the real thing either.
It's all right. Please calm down. Do you know where you are right now?
It looks like an announcement room, but there are these invisible walls stopping me from leaving. Plus,
Nope.
the fake Teddy is watching me, so I can't use my persona.
I don't know who that fake Teddy is, but it seems that Rise-san and the real Teddy were kidnapped to provide us of a means of communication. In other words, to keep us fooled while we were in this world. Then again, that explains nothing about whatever objective could be gained by doing this to us. How does Labras's existence tie into this?
Oh, right. Thanks. Kirijo-san, right? Wait.
The progression of this one is definitely going in a little bit of a different direction than
That's
the
not
others.
important now. Are you a persona user too?
Well, I say a different direction. It still looks like the direction is towards the announcement room.
Yes, but we can discuss that later. I sense a shadow-like presence very close to your position. Are you all right?
The only thing near here is the fake Teddy. Wait, is that what you're talking about?
Oh, the fake Teddy is a shot.
So it's a shadow.
I was hesitant to make a decision. Kirijo-san does not know Teddy. Of course she wouldn't know his origins. Even if the General was the real Teddy, she would probably think of him as a shadow if she didn't know better. But if the General is merely something else that's taken on his appearance, it leads to a completely different conclusion. That is, it's a shadow from a normal human who doesn't have any tolerance for this world. But if that's the case, then why is the shadow mimicking Teddy? I don't have enough pieces to begin solving this puzzle yet. While I'm in the process of thinking things through, Kirijo-san speaks up.
Shirogane, you need to hurry on. I'll try to maintain communication as best I can and keep you in the loop.
Okay, so we're actually going to have
All right,
communications
then, I'm
for this
off.
one? I nod back to her and start running. Onward. To the announcement room where Rise-san is being held. Oh. Looks like we've got at least one more fight first though. As I hurry on, led by the invisible walls, I reach a classroom. I'll be forced into another fight here too, no doubt.
Looks like you're chugging right along. And now another special guest for you.
Oh, another one of the P3
The
crew.
gloves may be off putting you up against this one, so I want to see your best moves out
I
there,
guess-
Nathan. Now, bring out the next opponent.
It'd be interesting for now to... Oh, nope, Agihiko. See a silhouette framed in the spotlight. It's... Well, how could I forget that attire?
You're Akihiko Sanada, as I recall.
Interesting. I've been gone for a while, and here I meet a stranger who knows who I am.
You're a member of Mitsuru Kirijo's organization. Her friend, actually, no?
Oh, I see. So it's really Mitsuru you're interested in. Ace detective.
Oh. His words caused me to tense up. He just called me Ace Detective. Perhaps that was just a guess for my family name, Shirogane, but he could know that I'm spying on them for the police. I carefully search his eyes for anything that might tell me how much he knows. He looks me over from head to toe, and immediately sneers mockingly.
Jeez, look at you. You have the physique of a 12-year-old.
What?
A detective needs a strong body more than a strong brain. All-night research sessions, long stakeouts. You need stamina for that. But look at those twiggy arms and legs of yours.
But we don't need physical strength when we have gun.
You've got an overdeveloped chest, but from the looks of it, I'd say it's all fat and no muscle. Seriously.
What?
What is wrong with him? It's the part of my self-image I'm most sensitive
Let me
about.
teach you the secret to bodybuilding. First thing, protein. Second thing, protein. Third, fourth, and fifth,
more
protein.
Oh, he fell asleep at the computer. I apologize, Mooney. I did not mean to give you my tiredness.
Don't you think that's rather
And you rejoin just in time for protein. Sonata-san flexes his muscles like a bodybuilder.
And finally, you gotta spar.
Oh.
2.
He said sparring, but that punch was meant to do serious damage. This is absurd. However, putting his unhinged talk aside, his skill as a fighter isn't something I should take lightly. Dude, I can't dodge them all.
Stop it, Akihiko!
Mitsuru?
Oh. Okay, this is interesting because we're getting we're getting someone actually interfering in this conversation. Sonata-san stops suddenly as a familiar voice echoes through the room.
You're under the effects of an illusion. Shirogane has done nothing. Do not attack.
What do you mean? He's the one who attacked me all of a sudden.
I attacked.
Oh. Suddenly I remember. That's right. This is all an illusion. I've never met Sonata-san before, so I don't know what his usual self is supposed to be. On top of that, I allowed the first thing he said to get under my skin. Stupid of me. I let myself get swept up in the situation and failed to realize what was really happening.
From my perspective, it was you who dealt the first blow. We were both being shown an illusion to make us fight each other.
Shirogane is an excellent detective and a persona user. I told him everything. He's agreed to cooperate with us. He was originally on the scene as a police observer in this case, so we've already met.
Oh. Kirijo-san and I explained to Sonata-san what has been happening up until now. It's a relief to learn that, despite his appearance, he's actually quite a reasonable man and quick to pick up on things.
That noise-like phenomenon that fogs your senses is already gone. You should be able to communicate normally now.
Oh. We reintroduce ourselves and shake hands.
Looks like I fell for a cheap trick.
I'm sorry for forgetting myself, too. I can't even claim to have been unaware of the deception.
So you're a persona user, huh? Well, since fate already brought us together, want to test your skills before you move on?
He still wants to fight. Sonata-san slams his fists together.
Akihiko, you're doing it again. Just cooperate with him.
All right. Come on, Naoto.
Except I think we're going to be forced to fight because invisible walls.
Wait, the tournament rules say...
As Sonata-san walks away, in cheese root, Akihiko was able to figure out how to get past the invisible walls. As I figured, he hit the wall.
Right? What's the matter? What happened?
I don't know. There's some kind of invisible wall here.
The rules dictate that only the winner of each match can advance. So,
We do have to fight. He was flustered mere seconds ago, but now Sonata-san has taken on a more lively expression.
So we need to have a match, even though we've got nothing against each other.
That seems to be the case.
All then, huh? All right then, come at me.
please go easy on me.
I could almost hear Kirijo-san's sigh in exasperation. Right. Quick save. Naoto versus Akihiko. No worries about sleeping, no one. As long as you can get away with it. Oh, hold up. Oh! Is that a trap I can leave? Ow. Ow.
This way. Gotcha.
Ouch. Ow. There we go.
Do it! You're finally on a roll!
KO'd.
Gun.
How unfortunate. Better luck next time.
Okay. Quick save down.
That was a great bout. You're good.
About? What an annoying rule.
Wait a second. That reminds me. I saw that guy calling himself General walking with a girl. If only one person can move on, that's against the rules.
Oh. The fake Teddy and Rise-san were together all this time. Then, could the girl he's talking about be Rise-san?
Do you remember
No.
the details of what this girl looked like?
Oh. Tsunade-san tells me about the girl he'd seen. What he said matches the description of the unknown girl Kanji-kun had talked about. Which means that there's a high probability that the person seen walking with her was not the General, but the real Teddy. At the very least, this is evidence against the argument that Teddy is the General. This creates another theory, though. If the General is not really Teddy, then he's someone else's shadow. And there's only one person that fits the bill. Well, not person per
If
se,
that girl
but...
was Labrys, then, well, is
Oh.
it possible we're dealing with her shadow?
Actually picking out that it might be Labrys' shadow off the bat. That's right, Labrys. If she has a heart capable of using a persona, then it stands to reason that she could create a shadow. In light of how the events of last year played out, it makes perfect sense. She was kidnapped by someone who threw her into the TV world, creating a reflection of her heart.
None of the data I have shows any connection between Labrys and Yasagami High. On top of which, I don't see how she'd know about you or your friends.
I've been having doubts about that as well, but at least I have a feel for what's going on. What Labrys' kidnappers hope to gain from this remains unknown, however. At any rate, it wouldn't be good if the shadow were to run into its owner. Either way, it's best if I head to the announcement room. It's much more logical to restrain the false Teddy since I know his location, than it would be to have to search for Labrys somewhere in this world. Still, if that really is Teddy with Labrys, why are they traveling together?
Sheesh, what's that Teddy doing? I'm sorry I can't help much,
Oh, Risa.
Kirito-san.
Get a specialist in
You'll
the
have to
background.
forgive me for my meager skills as well. My persona's communication powers are more for operational assistance. A friend of mine from school was much stronger than myself in that respect, but
Oh no, it's all that stupid bear's fault anyway. He's a real genius for making people worry.
Man, it's strange running into so many Persona users I've never heard of all at once. I gotta say, it brings back memories.
No.
For us, too. We were as surprised as you. Not to say that the possibility of other Persona users hadn't crossed our minds, but to actually meet them.
What you said about a friend from school kinda reminds me of us, too. What was school like for you? I'd like to hear about it.
I mean, I'm happy enough for us to have this conversation, but do we have to... Is this really the best time?
well, ignoring Akihiko's current appearance, he was a boxing champion in his student days.
Hey, that dig was uncalled for.
After that, I don't know what went through his brain, but he started saying he wanted to search for stronger opponents.
He went on a journey to hone his skills? I thought that only happened in comics and old samurai films.
I thought I had to do it, so I did it. That's all.
This peaceful moment was shattered by Kirijo-san's voice.
Wait, what's this I'm sensing?
Oh,
It's like a shadow, but bigger.
that's a problem. Another shadow presence? And it isn't that false Teddy.
Huh? What's going on? That fake Teddy left the announcement room.
Oh. Rise-san made a report immediately after that. Tsunade-san and I look at each other. It seems like the situation is changing. Tsunade-san nods to me, and after taking a small bow, I run off. With no one watching over her anymore, Rise-san was able to summon her persona. The job of providing support moved from Kirijo-san, who not all of us knew, to Rise-san. Rise-san contacted the rest of us and let us talk to each other for a moment. Oh?
Risa-chan? Oh, thank God you're safe! Don't worry, the others are here too. We'll rescue you in no time.
Wait, why is Naoto here?
I can't help but smile at this as I tell them about the others I had seen so far. It seems we're all safe for now. And now that we can communicate, we've greatly increased our awareness of the situation and our ability to share information. The General must have known that leaving Rise-san alone would result in this. If he did know, but left her anyway, There must have been something major happening. Either that, or he no longer has any reason to hide. I hurry on while we share what we know. The actual design of this place may differ from the real Yasogami High School, but the general layout appears to be the same. So if I climb the stairs and turn the corner, the announcement room should be right there. However, Rise-chan calls out a warning before I can get there.
Bad news, Naoto-kun! The fake Teddy's back!
Oh.
I'm too late.
Huh? What the? Is that the real Teddy?
Oh.
Hey, the real Teddy's here too! He's got some girl with him. I don't know her.
The fact that Rise's communications didn't get cut off once General Teddy reappeared is somewhat worrisome. But then again, General Teddy doesn't have the time to bother watching Rise-san. After all, if the real Teddy and Labras are both right there as well, he has more important things to be concerned with. This confirms that General Teddy is a fake. It's only natural then to assume that he is Labras' shadow in disguise. But that makes things dangerous. Labras and her shadow are confronting each other. Rise-san should know the dangers of the situation, but she doesn't know Labras. She might not realize what the relationship is between the girl and the shadow. I have to warn her. But before I can speak, it happened. Oh. The static gets worse.
Rise-san?
Oh,
Rise-san!
we better be hurrying, Naoto. I feel Shadow Labras is making her appearance. Why can't I communicate with her when we're so close? There's something happening in the announcement room. I run as fast as I can towards it. As I reach the door, I hear a loud scream from inside. Oh. I slammed the door open without a second thought, prepared for a fight. But the attack came from an unexpected assailant. Of anyone in that room, I wouldn't have thought it'd be... What the? Don't do that to us! Don't give us a to be continued! Ah! Okay. 20 minutes left. I think we can start Mitsuru's story. Probably only make it the first chapter, like, save point. Yeah, I think I've got time to carry on. It feels like I've gotten too much time to leave early. So, new chapter. First time playing as a character from a game I haven't played. I've not played Persona 3. Late November in the year 2010. The darkness fell without warning. At the same time, the previously busy examination room fell so silent that the man's ears hurt.
Hey, what happened?
Oh. He called toward the back of the room, but no answer came. After working for the public safety for over a decade, he thought little could faze him anymore, but this was uncomfortably alien. It was no ordinary blackout. If it were, the faint lights from the machines running on battery power such as cell phones would remain. But the silence disturbed him even more. He hadn't heard so much as a single cry. As he looked around, he saw a spot in the darkness. Something was giving off an eerie glow, as if painted in incandescent pigments. Hello. What's going on here? I have no context for this. Once his eyes began to adjust to the darkness, he was able to faintly make out the area around that light. The shining spot was revealed as a small, strangely decorated box. One that the man had only just delivered to the forensics unit.
Forensics team! What the
Oh,
hell?
hello. Okay, this is now the second story you're appearing in. Are you going to get a name, or are you just public security man forever? He called out, still squinting at the shadow of a person he could see at the window before him. But as the shape resolved, he saw that it was not a person's shadow at all. He had no words to describe it. At first glance, it seemed to be a coffin. Indeed, this is what it was shaped like. But he had never seen a coffin standing upright, tall as an adult, shining like a dark crystal. Yet that was clearly what the crystalline mass was, squatting in the spot where a window clerk normally stood. And upon closer examination, it wasn't the only one. At desks in front of the evidence shelf, next to a reference computer, the objects towered everywhere, as if they had taken the place of humans.
What are these?
Oh, a chill ran down the man's spine. They're people, was the thought that instinctively came to mind. Was this the reason he couldn't hear anyone else's voice? Was it because everyone but him was...
What's going on?
I'm guessing this is something to do with Persona 3's story. Once the fear had set in, it wasn't easy to shake off. His familiar office was starting to look like a grotesque netherworld. He felt quite sure that he had to get out. Quickly, he turned and grabbed the knob to the door through which he had just entered, but
What the?
no escape. It didn't budge. It wasn't that the door was locked, preventing the knob from turning the latch. The knob was completely frozen in place.
Is anyone here? Hey, let me out!
The man slammed his fist against the door, yelling in desperation. But the sensation he felt when his fist impacted the surface wasn't that of hitting a door. It felt completely at odds with what he saw, as if a picture of a door had been drawn onto a solid wall. It was then that the man noticed that another light, similar in colour to that emanating from the box, could be seen on part of his hand as he swung it forward. It was a ring, and suddenly he remembered. When he brought in the small box, he found several bizarre ring-shaped objects within it. While handing it over to forensics, he suspected that they might be rings. To check the theory, he put one on. And now the ring was emitting the same eerie light as the box. Though he still had no idea what was going on, it was immediately apparent that it was directly related to the current situation. The man grabbed the ring with sweat-slicked fingers and tugged, ready to pull off his own finger if necessary. But just at that moment...
I wouldn't take that off right now.
Oh, hello, Kirijo. The man can't help but gasp. He looked around but could sense no one inside the room with him. Where had the voice come from?
I'll be there to rescue you shortly. Calm yourself and wait there.
When the man calmed himself, he realized that it wasn't just a voice. The sensation was indescribable, but it was distinctly unlike hearing with one's ears.
Who's there?
Oh, pardon me. This is Mitsuru Kirijo. We met earlier.
So, Kirijo. He did know a Kirijo. It was she who brought the strange, small box. And that wasn't all he knew. The Kirijos were a wicked family who used their fortune and influence as a shield, a constant frustration to the police. So is this Mitsuru narrating this? That's kind of an interesting comment on her own family. Despite that, the man couldn't help but feel relief wash over him. Perhaps he might survive this after all.
Oh, well, I appreciate the help. Just hurry.
After getting the muttered words out, he sank to the floor, the door at his back. Mitsuru Kirijo. If he recalled correctly, she was the eldest daughter of the Kirijo group's founding family. He noted that her voice had been far calmer than his, despite the situation they were both in. He sensed a measure of trustworthiness from her. And to think, it had been merely an hour ago that he was asking himself why such a young girl had been chosen as the head of the Kirijo group at all. Oh? Time skip? Or just location change? The digital clock on the corner of the desk quietly announced the arrival of 10 AM in the morning. Normally most of the staff would be out and about by now, but the entire police department was in turmoil today. It was only to be expected, with a key figure from the Kirijo group visiting on unusual business.
Kirijo, huh?
Oh. Is this a flashback to what led to that situation? The Kirijo group was a major trading firm, synonymous with Japan. They had links to all areas of business. Not a day could go by in the city without hearing their name. The clock that had struck 10 bore the logo of Kirijo Electronics, and KJ was the carrier for the cell phone provided to every member of the force. A few days ago, this same Kirijo group had made a seemingly insane proposal. The document was hundreds of pages, but a brief summary would read, "We wish to collaborate with the police on an unofficial department for eliminating monsters."
Well, it does happen from time to time. Famous businessmen end up advocating cultish nonsense in pursuit of their ambitions.
Oh, so are we learning like how this guy figured out about personas and shadows? Upon consideration, it was decided that the Kirijo group should be invited in to give their pitch. Of course, there was no intention of spending tax money on the outlandish proposal. The police's interest in humouring the Kirijo group lay elsewhere. The Kirijo group had offered an incentive whereby, if the police agreed to the meeting, they would provide a detailed list of the Ergonomic Research Lab's artifacts, as well as actual samples. It was this that drove the officials' decision. But there had been dark rumours bandied about the Kirijo group over the last 10 years. While still a family-run business, some said that old man Koetsu Kirijo had delved into paranormal research and was performing inhumane experiments. The police collected enough evidence to test the rumour, and had prepared many times to force an investigation. But every time the investigation came to nothing, due to the group exerting hidden pressure, frustrating those working on the case to no end. The investigation's prime target was the infamous Ergo Research, the Kirijo Ergonomics Research Lab. Exposing the Kirijo group's dark side had been a dream of public safety's for 10 years now. And now, Kirijo seemed willing to hand over Ergo Research's tightly guarded secrets on a silver platter. No one knew the reason for this sudden about-face, but neither did anyone think of turning him down. They agreed to the summit not to hear out whatever proposal Kirijo was offering, but as a stepping stone towards unearthing their past crimes. Time passed and the agreed-upon time in the afternoon came. The man was tasked with watching over and bringing in the artifacts from the Kirijo group. Though he would not speak with the guest, the police's plan afforded him a major responsibility, one that gave him something like a leading role. Oh, vroom vroom. There's the limo. It wasn't long before the Kirijo car arrived in the underground porte-cochere? More words I don't know. This isn't my commonly used language. The staff there to receive the guests only shrugged at the long black limousine that would have turned heads on the main roads. One of the youngest recruits looked towards the man and asked a question.
Chief, what's with that car?
Meh. But that was the least of the surprises in store. When the Kirijo group representative stepped out of the limousine, she was revealed to be a beautiful young woman, no older than a university student. Not only that, but she had attendants dressed in what could only be described as maid uniforms. All of them were young women roughly her age. The scene mesmerized the various dignitaries present to greet her.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I am Mitsuru Kirijo, representing the Kirijo group. It's nice to meet you.
Her brisk greeting radiated poise. From there, she shook hands with the assembled dignitaries in a manner that showed she was no stranger to social gatherings.
She's the company rep? Really?
The young recruit who was sneaking looks out of the corner of his eye muttered in spite of himself.
The proposal said the rep who's coming today would be the leader of this new unit, but I thought it was supposed to be some hardcore armed response team, and she's leading it? Well, I guess it's better than some meathead.
Shut up and hold your position.
But in truth, the man felt the same way. Certainly this monster extermination unit would never be incorporated, but even if it were, he was sure this wisp of a girl could never do such work. Eventually, the dignitaries entered the agency along with Miss Kirijo. All of them were lopsided smiles due to the young beauty's unexpected appearance, but that would do for now. The dignitaries were only there to receive her. Their true objective was loaded in the truck parked behind the limousine. The documents and artifacts of Ergo Research.
All right, start bringing them in.
Roger, sir.
At the man's signal, his trained subordinates surrounded the Kirijo truck. They formed a line, smoothly passing boxes from man to man into the building. The articles were of various sizes, with even a few that came in oversized metallic containers for aerial transport. The Kirijo group had warned them not to handle these things carelessly until explanations were forthcoming. But in truth, the department was already prepared to begin a forensic investigation of the objects, and even send them to the lab.
Are you sure it's okay for us to open these? The instructions said not to.
It won't be a real investigation if we let them hamstring our procedures. Besides, I can't think of anything they could send us that we couldn't handle.
Well, you're about to find
Unless
out.
there's real monsters inside these things.
About that. The articles were brought in silence. The operation only lasted about 15 minutes. The man himself received the last item, about the size of a jewelry box, and checked the truck to make sure nothing went overlooked before closing it up. That done, he turned and walked quietly towards the forensics room. Try though he might to maintain his composure, he couldn't contain the excitement he felt. For 10 years, the darkness of the Kirijo group had been a frustrating legend, like mist between the department's fingers. Their chance to investigate and expose them was here at last. If even the slightest evidence matched the DNA of those who had gone missing, or the victims of the unsolved cases, victory would be theirs. The man tried to tamp down his exhilaration and took another look at the small box he had held. There was no upper lid on the box. A pedestal-like protrusion at its center held a number of small, circular trinkets. Their usage was completely unknown. What kind of research produced these? Just as the man was about to hand the box to the window clerk, he saw a wedding ring on the clerk's finger and came to a realization.
Huh. Are these rings?
We're not sure yet.
The man put on some protective latex gloves and tried one of the objects on. After looking at it from every angle, its color and shape seemed to be nothing but ordinary. If it was meant to be jewelry, it wasn't very attractive. The man couldn't picture scientists in lab coats slaving away in a lab to create rings like this. The moment that unlikely possibility came to mind, the man felt somewhat embarrassed by his ignorance of fashion and accessories. But as soon as he reached for the small box to put the ring back inside, darkness suddenly fell. Okay, so that was
Please
the
step
setup.
away from the door.
Oh. The voice echoing in the man's mind brought him back to reality. He took a few steps away from the door as directed and stood ready. Step away from the door. The more he thought about it, the stranger the order seemed. How did she know he was so close to the door when she wasn't even in the room? Suddenly a chill filled the area. In mere seconds, the entire door was coated in white.
Where'd this ice come from?
It had frosted over. The man couldn't believe his eyes, but the evidence was there in front of him. He could then hear a slight knocking sound, followed by a crack forming in the center. The door buckled under its own weight and crumbled with a sound that was like building blocks being pushed over. Standing just past it was the Carrizo woman. She walked over to the man with exquisite nonchalance. At her side was one of the maids she brought.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
We did give you fair warning, but it seems to have gone unheeded.
Told you not to touch the demon box. The man looked towards the ring shining on his finger.
This happened because we touched that box? What is this thing?
That ring gives its bearer an unstable form of pseudo-potential and allows anyone to experience the Dark Hour.
The Dark Hour?
The box itself seems to be a failed recreation of the Dark Hour. The effect radius is small, and it malfunctions when improperly handled.
The Dark Hour. He remembered that phrase coming up in documents the Carrizo group had sent. If he recalled correctly, it was defined as a hidden time, unable to be experienced by normal people. A time where everything stood still. According to the documents, it seems to have occurred every night at midnight for about 10 years, until spring 2010, as if it was forcing its way into normal time. From what I'm aware, the midnight hour, that's like Persona 3's equivalent to the TV world from Persona 4 and the metaverse from Persona 5. Like, it's kind of the world that the combat and stuff takes place in. Before now, it seemed like pure fantasy. But could this silent darkness be the very same thing?
So you're saying those stories in that document, that occult-sounding stuff was actually for real?
Yep. At that moment, a voice suddenly echoed from beyond the hallway, past the broken door. Oh.
Who's there?
The man reflexively called out an alarm, realizing that the fear had not yet died down. What emerged from the darkness was the young recruit who had greeted the guests earlier, and had been helping with bringing in the artifacts. He was staggering as if severely drunk.
Chief!
Hey, are you alright?
The man started to rush to his side, but the Carrizo woman silently stopped him. She stood between the two, as if protecting the man.
What? He's my...
Before he could finish, a surprising change overtook the recruit. What's going on? The recruit fell to the ground with an agonized scream. A black, tar-like substance began flowing from his every orifice.
What?
The ooze spread unnaturally across the ground and cohered into a glob. It rose up like a beast raising its head, and what looked like claws began to form. Its appearance showed clear signs that it possessed some malevolent will. Hello. The man thought again about the Carrizo group's initial proposal. We wish to collaborate with the police on an unofficial department for eliminating monsters. Without a doubt, this is what they were referring to. And the name that came up again and again was...
This is a shadow.
That it is. It's a monster that dwells in every person's heart. They usually can't manifest themselves this way, but it's quite common to see it happen during the dark hour.
So the research to make this happen artificially. That's what Kirijo has been experimenting with.
That did seem to be the extent of it. At the start.
At the start. The man couldn't prevent himself from shuddering, imagining the implications of her statement. Hello! With the second roar, the half-liquefied shadow suddenly took on the form of some fell beast. But where the face should have been was nothing but a mask, giving it the bizarre appearance of two creatures stitched together. The young woman, for her part, seemed not in the least perturbed.
Kikuno, my things, please.
The maid stooped to reach something. The man wasn't sure where she had been carrying it, but she placed a sword in her master's hand. The blade was specially shaped, similar in design to a fencing saber.
You're going to fight it?
Stay back. This will all be over soon.
Oh. At that moment, as if understanding their conversation, the shadow squared itself and leapt towards the young woman. Its speed matched its beastly appearance. In the darkness of the room, the man found it difficult simply keeping his eye on it. The young woman did not move. Her sword remained lowered in the face of the shadow's advance. Of course, thought the man. An amateur like her could never react in time. However...
Artemisia!
No. At a word from the young woman, some unseen force slammed the shadow against a wall. The man momentarily doubted his own eyes. For it hadn't been the woman who repelled the monster, but a silhouette that suddenly appeared behind her. It looked as though the being enveloped in sublime light. Contrasting the shadow's dark glow was a woman wearing a majestic dress. The silhouette held up a hand towards the grounded shadow. Once again, the man felt freezing air fill the room. And with that, the shadow stopped moving. Frost crystallized all over it, turning it into an ice sculpture within seconds. Only then did the young woman swing the sword in her hand. A white gleam arced through the air. Upon impact, the frozen enemy shattered, like it had been crystallized sugar rather than ice. The victory was so one-sided that the man hesitated to call it a battle.
Are you all right?
The young woman turned towards the man. The sound of her boots hitting the floor gave him the jarring realization that she hadn't moved a single step during the fray. Seeing that he was at a loss for words, she gave him a gentle smile. It was all too much for the man. He actually felt relieved to be protected by this small woman. One thing was obvious. She had been through countless battles much like the one he'd just witnessed.
Your fallen employee's life is in no danger, but he'll be very weak. Make sure he gets to a hospital. Should I make the arrangements?
No, I should at least handle that. It is a public security matter.
With a nod, the young woman approached the small box and manipulated it in a way he couldn't quite catch. The eerie yellow-green light began to fade. Moments later, the silence and darkness faded too. The world had been restored. There we go. The man felt his body become suddenly lighter, causing him to breathe a sigh of relief. He hadn't realized until the pressure was gone that the air had been suffocating, as if he had been underwater. There was a stir of movement in the room. The forensics team and assistants looked at the man and young woman, perplexed. The man took a quick look around. Fragments of the shattered door were strewn about. A young public security worker was lying unconscious nearby, and their Kirijo guest, who had entered without anyone noticing, held in her hand a drawn sword.
I'd be shocked too if I were them.
Fair enough, fair enough. It occurred to him that if normal people couldn't sense the dark hour, the sudden change in circumstances may have seemed to them like some magic trick.
Excuse me, but this place is off limits to all unauthorized personnel.
That's your first complaint?
Hey, what's going on here?
The forensic staff looked at the man helplessly.
It's all right. We had a little emergency. That aside, halt all examination of the relics they brought in. We'll wait for further instructions from the Kirijo group.
Huh? But you said...
I've changed my mind.
If there are any boxes that are closed, don't force them open. Not if you don't want to come face to face with monsters.
Leaving the frowning forensics team behind him, the man quickly went into the hall with the Kirijo woman.
I have to thank you for your help. And about the conference, I'll join in as well. It's been arranged so nothing you say would get through to the higher-ups.
If the young woman was surprised at what amounted to a confession of betrayal, she didn't show it.
Are you saying you will reconsider your plans?
I can't overlook anything as serious as this. I wouldn't be doing my job as public security if I did.
I'm curious, is it going to continue like this? Because this is the first one where, like, the non-spoken text has been, like, given in third person rather than first person.
But make no mistake, the things I saw today are proof of the sins the Kirijo group has committed. They can't be punished under the law, but now that they're known, atonement will be made in some shape or form.
Indeed. I never intended anything less.
Oh.
You really put one over on us this time.
Hmm?
Well, there's no need to be coy. What happened today was no accident, was it? We'd never have believed the reports unless we saw it in person. That's why such a dangerous box had no lid. Am I wrong?
There was no lid. That's not possible. That box was classified as risk level 3. It should have been securely fastened.
Oh. The young woman fell silent, then gasped and gave the maid walking silently beside her a look.
Kikuno.
The maid continued without the slightest sign of remorse and left her master behind. Both the man and the young woman sighed at once.
Us guys in public security have a reputation for being tough. But it seems like you guys are no slouches yourselves.
The summit that was meant to be a perfunctory refusal took an unexpected turn. Promises were made to continue the talks. 6 months passed. After many opportunities to show the actual samples to the dignitaries were set up, the proposed special unit was established in mostly the form Kirijo requested. The Security Department, the Shadow Response Unit. It was the inauguration of the special unit that would, in time, be nicknamed the Shadow Operatives. Oh, nope, don't overwrite Naoto, so we can overwrite that one now. But, for now, that's, I think, gonna be me for tonight. Okay. So Naoto's story definitely got us a bit more of an interesting thing. So we know there's... Labras was stolen by some other group, and she was forced into the TV. But okay, but the thing is, who would be that? Because I don't think I've gotten any clues on who that culprit might have been yet. All the other stories we kind of just knew. The antagonist seemed to be Labras' shadow. But there's still more to this. I'm guessing we'll find out a lot more from Mitsuru, Akihiko, and Aigis' stories, given that they seem to be more involved with Labras. Aigis particularly, because Aigis is, as she puts it, Labras' younger sister. But, oh, okay. I am definitely... I wasn't sure, like, quite what to expect from Persona 4 Arena. Like, I knew it was a fighting game. I'd seen, like, little bits of gameplay here and there. But I wasn't quite expecting it to just be... It's mostly a visual novel, which I don't mind. I enjoy reading. Oh, I'm sure I spent a stream a couple of weeks ago just doing nothing but reading SCP documents. No gameplay at all. And it's just... Well, getting to see Persona from... like, going through all the different characters and getting it from behind their views. I don't know if it'll quite be the same for me seeing, like, the Persona 3 characters, because I don't have the same connection to them, because I haven't played Persona 3. Still definitely interested to see where the story goes, and we've still got 2 chapters left to unlock, but I imagine those will only be unlocked last, because I imagine they are kind of... They'll be the 2 that will tie up the other 10 stories? Yeah, 10 stories. I think there's 12 chapters in total. But, otherwise, plan for tomorrow, I'll be streaming my Persona... No, I finished Persona 5. I will be streaming my Pokemon Platinum randomizer tomorrow. Getting back into it, taking on the first gym with my Rayquaza and Team of Ice Pokemon I've already managed to collect. And then I will be returning on Saturday to finish Metroid Zero Mission. Scheduled for next week, as usual, then will be put up on Sunday. But otherwise, if you feel like it, follow me on Twitch, subscribe to me on YouTube, but regardless of what you do, I hope you have a great evening. No worries, Moody, as long as you enjoy. great evening, have a good night, and until next time I see you, goodbye.